the difference around what I'm calling the birth lottery. The difference of a life you have depending on where you're born.
Over half the world doesn't have clean running water and toilets. Super basic stuff, clean running water and toilets. That is absolutely insane when you think about it. We complain about our lives where we sit in front of our computers, we work from home, we've got heating, we've got clothing, we've got any food that we want. We've got the internet, we can learn anything, we can change our lives. We're so privileged that we forget we've got these first world problems. Mate, episode 8, you finally made it.
I finally made it. We pushed it back 3 times. And once again, my internet's fucked, but we push on.
Mate, what is going on with you? Like, you've got a new executive assistant to help you out with your scheduling. And you've done this before, where you get a new person in, and then it gets 10 times worse. Like, I don't know what it is. If you think it's just a bloody license to not honour any meeting or anything, you're like, nah, I'm just moving everything. Who cares? Changing everything. Stuff anyone else. Their lives don't matter.
So what happens is that I increase my efficiency. So I put in more meetings and they just get further behind because I end up doing more. So it actually doesn't save me time. So what happens is I run.
Just shift.
Yeah, I just shift it. So instead of getting 8 meetings a day, I get to have 10 meetings a day, which are all consecutively late. So it saves me time, and admin in the system saves me time, which then I fill that saved time with more shit. So from the front end, you're just seeing the same old useless Ben arriving 15 minutes late for a meeting. But on the back end, it's like a V8, mate. It's fucking, we're getting heaps done.
Mate, you're full of shit. What you're actually doing is shifting the cost to fucking everyone else and creating mass inefficiencies in the business. Fucking useless, mate. V8 Ben.
You know
Fuck
what?
Me.
I was over at Dave's the other day, and I'm not gonna name who the employee was, but they were basically connecting up, and Dave had his computer open, so I saw Slack pop up. Because I was supposed to meet with this employee at a certain time. I sent him a message and said, let's catch up at 2:40. The same employee then messages Dave and says, I'm supposed to catch up with Ben at 2:40, but you know how he is, so we can catch up now.
So good. And mate, everyone knows how you are. It's no secret. And I'm sure they'd say it to your face.
Fucking chaos. It's bad. I need to get better at it. But
mate,
I just try and, just not enough hours in the day. Like, I'm trying. The other option is we just don't meet at all. But that's not helpful. So it's like, you know what I mean?
Mate, what is going on with your life? Like, you dropped me a voice message the other day, a 3-minute voice message about what you're up to. And I had a panic attack after I listened to it, mate. Like, seriously, you got what? A cap raise going on. You're the CEO of a business. You've got EO stuff. You're running a bloody accelerator by yourself. You got 2 podcasts, YouTube content. You got all these networking events. Mate, rein it in a little bit, mate. Come on. At least for the rest of us.
It's actually insanity. I think the speaking stuff's just been like a whole new ball game. Like, I'm trying to prepare for, the Research Society conference. That's an 800-person event in a couple of weeks' time. I've got the TEDx talk. Got to go to Singapore in a few weeks' time. I was in Sydney last week. I had the webinar on Saturday night at like 2 a.m. Then I'm like, then I'm going to go, I think might have to go to Dubai soon. And then like got the investor meetings. Like, it's fucking insanity. And honestly, it's just crazy. So
I think you got the Gold Coast.
I got to go to the Gold Coast. And then the new PA, Haley, joined up. She'd been in the business for like 3 days. And she's like, what the actual fuck is going on? Like, she's like, are you serious? She's like, can someone else take these meetings? Like, what else? Like, I don't understand. Do you do all this? And I'm like, yes, Haley, I've already distributed. I don't go to half the meetings. I've already handballed all this stuff off. And she's like, this is fucked.
Good, because if I was your PA, I would look at that and go, fuck how you work. Seriously.
I think
you need to say no to some things and prioritize.
Dude, I actually do, though. That's the thing. I'm booking meetings out 3 to 4 weeks in advance. Like, unless it's really urgent, things aren't getting booked till September at this point. I'm meeting guys in Sydney, and we're booking. I've got a funny story for you. Okay, so
all right, let's go.
So, and I have to be pretty strategic in how I word this. So there's a female I'm catching up with soon, and I'm going to I'm going to be in a certain place where she lives, and we got connected and we're catching up anyway. And this is a long time in advance, and I'm checking my calendar. I was going to book in a time. I kind of forgot that this is the real world when you're like, trying to have a date with someone. You don't book something out 2 to 3 months in advance. So I'm checking my calendar. I'm like, oh, what are you doing on the, do you want to catch up for coffee on the 23rd of September? I don't know what the date was. 23rd of September, like 7 weeks. And just like, I don't know, Ben.
You're so romantic.
I don't know, Ben. Let's figure it out close to the time. I was like, oh, fuck, yeah, you're right. This is not a work call.
Can we meet up in 14 months' time? Because I kind of dig you, and this is where I can fit you in. As you can see, you're not a priority for me at all. And this is the only time I have available. Don't you know I'm running a crypto startup? Fuck. Get in line. Mate, your life is wrecked. Your romantic life, you're going to be...
just fucked, mate.
You got to sort it out.
I've got 14 minutes.
I'm glad someone gave you your dose of reality to the face, mate. You deserve it. Fuck me.
Oh, man. How funny.
You went to this in real life event like last week or whenever it was. Talked your ass off. Was it this Monday or last Monday? No, last Monday. Yeah. Lost your voice. You're like, I can't even talk. I'm getting sick. I'm doing all this stuff. Mate, you're just so hectic. Where are you? Like, what? Where are you right now? I don't even know where you are, mate.
So I got up the other day. I got out of bed. It was like middle of the night, trying to find the toilet. I wandered around, literally walked into the wall, busted my foot, kicked the fucking chair, sort of woke up. I was like, where the fuck am I? Just totally forgot where I was. Actually panicked for a second. I was like, oh fuck, I'm in Melbourne. Thought I was in Sydney, but the other place I'll stay. Because in Sydney, I'll get up and go left the toilet. Here it's get up and go right. So I thought I was like, fucking... Anyway, it's just been crazy. I'm in Melbourne.
Mate.
I'm in Melbourne. Had my EO stuff on Friday. Had to come in for a few meetings and then had some meetings today and got an EO again tomorrow. Got a full day training tomorrow. Then I'm out Wednesday. But it's been crazy. Sydney was great fun. I said I would report back. Sydney was a lot of fun. So we had the Venturing Capital event on the Monday. Spoke on a panel on crypto winter, what to do in crypto winter. And
nice.
Really the alpha there was really alpha. But my thoughts around that was like, it depends when you got in. Like the question, one of the questions I got was like, what should you do now? Like, what are the strategies? Like, well, depending when you got in, right? Like if you got in crypto in December or November, you're probably fucking panicking. You're probably down 80%. If you've been here since 2016, it's like this is it's another day in crypto, right? It's just like a walk in the park. So I think it depends on when you got in. Nothing's fundamentally changed. I'm not looking at altcoins right now. I think Bitcoin, Ethereum. There's been a lot of bullish sentiment around Ethereum recently, like Matt's video with the upcoming merge. I'm super excited about it. I don't know if it's already priced in this bearish market, but I was buying ETH on the plane. I was like, fucking hell.
Even Vitalik was saying it's not priced in.
Oh, there you go.
And after you saw Matt's video, mate, you pulled the wallet out.
Dude, so the supply shock is going down to base 0% interest rate. The validators, so the people that put up 32 ETH, actually can't sell their incentives when they get their rewards. They can't sell for 6 to 12 months. So all the whales that are jammed in their 32 ETH, literally can't sell. Supply shock. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's pretty bullish.
It's going to be interesting, man. Get amongst that. And okay, so we had a meeting earlier in the week, and you told me 2 things about Sydney. Everyone dresses fucking weird, and their coffee's absolute dog shit.
What is going on in Sydney, man?
They're the 2 takeaways,
What is
mate.
going on in Sydney? I got to Sydney. I was like, what the hell? I haven't been up in Sydney in a long time. I was like, what the hell is going up here? I saw like people coming out of a club on a Monday night. This dude, no shit, was wearing jeans, cowboy boots, a singlet. He had like dreadlocks. He's a white dude with dreadlocks and a hairy chest, and a flanny long sleeve. I was like, what the fuck is going on around here?
I want to have a beer with that bloke. Sounds like he's got his life together.
And the coffee in Sydney, my God. Jeez. Unless I'm the unluckiest bloke on earth, I sound like the biggest snob here, but fuck, it's bad coffee. I drink almond.
You're from Melbourne. You're a coffee
I drink
snob,
almond
mate.
milk.
Well, you lived in Melbourne.
And, oh my God. Just disgraceful.
Was the coffee worse in Sydney or in the States?
Oh God! If you have a milk-based coffee in America, like, just don't even drink it. Like, don't even fucking think
Game
about
over.
it. Like, so you've got a choice of just straight awful American like milk coffee, or do you want burnt almond milk, which tastes like dirty feet in Sydney? You just take your pick. That's your choice. But I will say,
give me that glass of dirty feet.
This coffee, which I nearly didn't pay for because of how expensive it was, cost me, wait for it, $8.
Mate, where are you having this $8 coffee?
$8 at the takeaway shop downstairs at the Crown Hotel. $8. As small as $4.80 or $5.
Saying...
It's cost me $8. I get discounted accommodation here, but I've done the math. When you add up the coffee, the 20% discount or whatever I get here is pushing me back out towards where I wasn't paying for. Anyway, so it's tough, man. It's been...
Oh, is Crown? Is it awesome?
Dude, the experience here is like 10 out of 10. From the moment you get, like, the door opens for you at the carport thingo, what's it called?
Yeah.
The thingo. They take you back. I had 2 massive, like, pull-up banners. I had, like, 2 bags. I was coming from Sydney. I was fucked. I had 4 minutes to get inside and have my investor meeting. I had 2 back-to-back investor meetings. I arrived at 7:30.
Extreme, Ben.
I had to check in, roll up the cafe, plug in, bang, investor meetings, 2 investor meetings. I'm at my EO thing all day, 12 till 6. We go out for dinner, 6:30 till 10. I haven't been to the hotel. I've got my webinar at 1:30, 2 a.m. in the morning. Haven't been here. Get here, let in the door, how I serve. All my bags is here, ready to go. I've got, like, a good room. I can plug in. I had a 2-hour kit up at 1:30 for my webinar. 450 people.
What a stitch up. That was a big stitch up. So we've got this webinar going where Ben is presenting to this whole group of people, and it's at 2 a.m. Ben's time. So, you know, of course, Ben's going to fit it in between the 3 minutes where he sleeps and meditates. You're like, no worries, let's get up. You drop me a message about that. Explain that journey to me when you wake up, mate, because it is hilarious.
Okay. It's a huge week in Sydney, like, massive week. You know, out every night with events, a couple of beers. Like, it's just, you get shit sleep, you get hotels, you're cooked. Friday, I got a 7:30 flight. Got up at 5 a.m. to leave Sydney. Sydney airport's fucked. It's chaos at the moment. Catching a flight is just bananas. There's people everywhere. I had to go to the fucking car park to line up the back end of security. Nearly missed my flight. I'm there an hour and a half beforehand. Get on the plane, pass out, wake up, get to Melbourne, straight here, 2 investor meetings, as I said, EO to the dinner. All of a sudden we're at dinner. I'm meeting with my EO buddies. Haven't seen these guys in 4 months. These are like some of my closest, like, business mates. So we're drinking a couple of pints, a couple of skewies. 10:30, I'm like, I gotta go home. These guys are kicking on. I'm like, no, I need to go. we got a webinar in, 2.5 hours. Go home, 2 hours sleep, wake up at 1:30. Webinar starts at 2 a.m. I've got a 2 a.m. This is New York, the midday New York time. So I've got to talk crypto, teaching people and get them into the membership. Wake up at 1:30. I was like, okay, I'm feeling all right. Got to the shower, couldn't open my eyes. I was literally like, I could not open my eyes. They were just stuck. So I ramp it to cold, have a cold shower, get out. Okay, I'm feeling good. Get to the chair. No, I'm feeling shit again. I'm fucking tired. I'm cooked. Go and have a Coke. I was like, maybe a bit of sugar. Nah, I've got 10 minutes before this webinar starts. Did 30 push-ups. Smashed it out. Then the adrenaline hits because I'm in front of 450 people. Smashed out the masterclass. Pretty sure I killed it. We had like 60 people sign up. It was great. It was awesome. Had great fun. 3:30 kicks in. I've seen all the data come in. That we got numbers. Now I'm wide. I'm up and about. I was, let's go to the club sort of shit. 3:30 in the morning. Now I'm wired. Now can't go to sleep. I smash a melatonin, have a water, turn the lights off, watch the Commonwealth Games like 4:30, pass out. Get up at 7:30. I've got shit to do. Go to the cafe, smash out emails till 9:30. Cooked again. Come home, watch Netflix, and try and sleep for a couple of hours. And that was that was Saturday.
Amazing. And the part that made me laugh, so apart from the push-ups, which is just hilarious, I could just imagine your skinny ass doing some push-ups. But then, like, after that, and 30, yeah, mate, turn it up. How long did that take you? Sets of 2?
It started at 1 a.m. Finished
But
at
then
2 a.m.
he literally goes, I'm so what? Yeah, that's it. That's the real story. And then he's like, it's just business cocaine. It is so good. Like after you've done it and you see all the numbers roll in and he starts getting like, this is pure life.
It literally is, man. But like,
so good, man.
it is business cocaine. It's like 60 members. We're killing it. It was like 3:45 in the morning. Me in my hotel room had 2 hours sleep. I was like, this is not good.
That is an absolute awesome result, man. The team have been working hard on that, building out all the funnels, the dev team, the growth team, and to just find people on the internet and sign them up is just awesome.
It was fun, man. It was really fun. Last thing I'll mention, when I watched the Lions play on Sunday, yesterday, against the Tigers, fuck, I hate Richmond. We're up by 40 points. We're slaying it first quarter. We got MCC seats. So my mate Matt, he works for Cricket Victoria, got us MCC seats, 6 seats, like middle boundary, few rows to the front, wicked seats. We're up by 40 points first quarter. My multi's killing it. I'm like, it's all winning. Like we're done. Like wrap it up. Second quarter up by 30, 40 points. Third quarter hits. One of my players in my multi injured, get subbed off, lose that, and Brisbane just go to shit. We basically lost both quarters, went downhill from then on. We gave up like a 40-point lead at MCG. So Richmond fans everywhere, just copping it all day. We lose by 7 points. We gave it up. We're out of the top 4, lose my multi,
Mate.
And just went home, hands between the legs. Terrible day.
Yeah, mate,
I
lost
walked
the game,
home.
lost your multi,
home.
lost your dignity.
30-minute walk. I just walked home. I was like, I just
Walk of
deserve this. This is
How good. Oh, mate. Unbelievable. Now, I'm just looking down at my finger. Here you go. Pop that. So, I've got a Band-Aid on. So,
you like my finger too?
yeah, man, absolutely. It's brilliant. So, what I did earlier, because Ben kept delaying the podcast because his life is just a shambles. So, I did an allergy test, right? So, this is the food allergy thing. So, you can order this off the internet, right? Costs you a couple of $100. And what you got to do is just get some blood out of your finger, put it on like 5 little dots and then send it away. And they let you know what you're allergic to and you get some support and all this kind of stuff. So anyway, we're doing the test and I get the missus to read it and do it. She's like a medical scientist. She understands. And then it's time to get the little prick thing and you press it on and it just pricks your finger. And she's got it next to my finger and I'm like pulling away. I'm like super scared. I'm like, fuck this. Like, it's like, you know, that little pinprick if you need to do blood sugar or something like that. It's nothing at all. But they've put it in this little like thumbtack looking thing and you don't know what's inside. You don't know when it presses. It's single use. So you can only do it once. And I'm like, no, I'm not doing it. No, I'm not doing it. I'm just freaking out like a little kid. And she's looking at me like, you big giant sook, giving me so much crap. Anyway, she eventually just stabs it. Didn't even feel it. I'm like, cool. All right, let's go. But before you stab it, right, you got to do all this stuff. Like you got to do 20 like jumping jacks. You got to move your arm in rotation like 10 times and you got to heat your hand up under warm water so the blood starts flowing. Anyway, get the little prick. Didn't even feel it. And there's something weird about, I don't know what's in that thing. I could literally get a knife and just go like that. No worries at all. But because I didn't know what was inside it, I was just like freaking out, which is hilarious because I'm like this giant, like hulking bloke. And I'm like, oh, don't my little finger. But needles and everything are fine because I can see him. Anyway, we get it going and a little bit of blood comes out. And I'm like, cool. And I start massaging my hand like this and you got to massage it down. And then, you know, usually you cut yourself. Blood just pours out, mate. No worries. Fucking not today. So I'm like squeezing. And not one drop of blood comes out. And I'm like, fuck this. This is bullshit. It's cold today. It's stormy. And so I go heat my hand up. Nothing's working. And eventually I just stand up and I'm literally like retching my hand to like get this thing going. And you got to put this drop. So I'm like, oh, there's a drop, but the drop's not coming off my hand. It's not like leaking out like a tap. So you have to just touch the little pad, right? And you're not allowed to actually, only the blood can touch it. You're not allowed to touch it because it'll contaminate it, right? So I touch it and there's these like 6 little circles and you got to get at least 4 of them full. And I touch it and it doesn't even feel like a quarter of the circle. And I'm like, oh my fucking God. So I'm literally there for like 10 minutes, squeezing my hand, squeezing my arm, trying to get blood out. After like the 3rd one, I was just like going ham on this thing. And then like the blood was like flowing and I got it into the little different things. So I've sent that test away and I think it's only a couple of weeks and I can report back with a full panel. They do like 200 or 300 things about what I'm allergic to, mate.
Mate,
it's going to be interesting.
That sounds fucked. Like, cut your finger off, try and get some blood out of there.
Oh, it's unbelievable. It's nothing at all. I reckon it was too pissy, the little thing that they gave us, like stab the side of your finger, do all this stuff. Like, man, just gives a little cut, let's go.
What?
You know, just
what made you do that?
Like when I'm cutting vegetables or something, the blood just leaks out, mate.
Do you think you're allergic to something, or like why'd you do that?
Oh, for sure, man. I reckon I'm allergic to a bunch of shit.
Yeah, right.
Definitely allergic to brewer's yeast and probably baker's yeast as well, and a few other things. Plus my brother did it, got awesome results from it. I just want to know, like, I definitely think some foods upset me more than others, and now I can actually go, okay, don't eat these ones because they'll just ruin you.
Man,
I'll let you know what the results are. I reckon you should get on this as well, mate. If it's good and they give you support, like they'll call you up, they'll talk you through it, they'll talk about diet, all that sort of shit. And you can take the results to like your doctor or another professional as well.
Dude, so I think we've got the same stomach problems, like that acidic like nature in your stomach when you have shit, it just makes you feel like absolute ass. You want to throw up and you're burping, and like it's just awful.
Oh yeah.
So I've got these new tablets. I went to the doctor. They're just there. I have one of them a day. Game changer. I can drink as many skewies as I want. I can eat dumplings.
Yeah.
I went to the movies last night. I had popcorn. Felt fit as a fiddle. Game changer. Absolute life changer. Honestly, like I feel great. I can eat whatever. I don't feel like shit. It's fucking unbelievable. Like, it's probably backwards on there.
Oh no, Sandoz is the brand. They make paracetamol too.
Pantoprazole. 20 milligrams of pantoprazole.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a PPI, proton pump inhibitor, same as like Gaviscon and shit, but you can take it daily. That's
Isn't
awesome.
it funny that you just got no idea what's in the shit that we eat and drink, like medication. We just trust that someone's like got good morals, and the stuff they put in there is like good for you.
Oh,
you know this. You're from health.
So story time, right? So back in the day, I used to go to Bali quite a lot. So I always get sick there. I always get dehydrated. And once I got Giardia, which is like a real fucked up bug, right? I had it for like a year. There's no real treatment for it. It's just oral rehydration. It's kind of like Ross River virus, right? And it's like you fucking feel crook 2 to 3 weeks out of the month. Your fucking bones hurt. You're lethargic. It's fucking shit. Anyway, when I saw a GP and he smashed me with like Flagyl, which is like this like fucking top shelf antibiotic, fucks you up. And I reckon I've been fucked up ever since. And my journey is literally to get back to like normal gut health and like normal shit. Because even when you have more bugs, that shit flares up. And it's like this journey to find out all these little fucking things, like these little allergies and food allergies and dust mites and then like all this kind of crap. It is absolutely ridiculous. What a minefield. And that's it. You trust this doctor. Because I went there and I went back and I'm like, bro, I'm still sick. I'm getting sicker. And he wanted to put me on those antibiotics for another 2 months. And I was like, get the fuck out of here. I just let you in. Absolutely
you said this guy was
crazy.
from Bali, or this guy?
You know what blows my mind?
Australian
as well?
doctor.
No, sorry. This Australian doctor. Yeah, back here, I got the bug in Bali. So what's wild as well is like how often we do this in our lives. Like we just hear something once and we trust people. The one that blows my mind is we jump on a plane with a pilot we've never met and we just trust him. We're like, yeah, he's a lad. He'll be fine.
That, by the way, there is no like...
Or she's a gun.
There
She'll
is
be fine.
no like... You know, some different places you can trust something that's sort of like safeguarded, right? Like, I'm trying to think about what that might be. You know, like, let's say you're bungee jumping or something like that. Like, you're not just trusting the human that's throwing you off. You can do your own checks. You can like check, make sure the cable's like all connected together. You're like, probably like 2 guys there. It's a whole crowd. It's like, you know, that's... I would never bungee jump, but like that's relatively like, you're going to be okay, right? In a plane, some guy wants to fuck you up and fuck everyone up. Like, you're done. Like, there's no one saving you. Like, he wants to turn that thing into the ground. It's going to the ground.
Oh, what about other situations? Like if you go to the barber and they literally hold a straight razor to your neck, like you got a man that you don't really know holding a razor to your neck. Like what if they're crazy? It's like all these trusting situations where we're like, oh no, they're legit. They're fine. We don't realize like they're humans with like crazy lives. Like we have heaps of problems. Even all the screening they do with pilots. Like it is unbelievable, man.
Do you trust...
It is so crazy. He's putting our lives in other people's hands.
Would you trust a robot or AI to like cut your hair or drive a plane over a human.
Mate, if I could look at the source code, hell yeah. If I couldn't, then probably
I
not.
can do my due diligence.
Or mate, if the robot was like slow enough, oh yeah, a robot could give me a buzz cut, mate. No worries, as long as it doesn't have like the power to push hard or like knock my head off or anything like that, I would go for it. Okay, you want to know what the real ultimate scary thing is? So this is what really frightened me. So when you have a kid, it's like it's a fucking traumatic experience, no matter what anyone tells you. It's completely fucked. You don't know what you're doing. You got this little fucking thing that's crying and shitting all the time. It doesn't sleep. You don't sleep. You're anxious. You fucking the sleep deprivation, and then you don't really eat properly. You're all fucked up, and it just ruins you. Even the broken sleep, if you manage to get it. And then like you're like, okay, cool. You know, you eventually get used to it, and then you go to work, and you know, you kind of fart around, do stuff, and then you realize everyone's been through this, and you start to look at people like surgeons that work insane hours, that still have kids, that don't fucking sleep, and they got to operate on people all day long, like serious shit. And then you're like, holy shit. Like, these people aren't gods. They're just humans, but they end up doing all this stuff. And you realize, like, this is the thing. Like, okay, let's say you have no kids and their recommended is 8 hours of quality sleep. If you have 7 hours of sleep, you're legally drunk. You're over 0.05. Done. And these guys sleep maybe 4 hours, 5 hours, if that, with kids and all this shit going on. Isn't that crazy?
It's fascinating, isn't it? That the
it's
trust
wild.
that we, and you wouldn't know that any of the difference. You'd go in operation, life changing, like life, you know, not life changing, but you know, you need to have a surgery that could be like live or die, and you've got your hands, your life's hands, in people that you've never met before, that may have just broke up with their missus or had too much to drink the night before or didn't get a good sleep, or who knows, they might be, I don't know.
Or they get into their own product. It happens a lot.
And it's
wild, isn't it?
Slip
it
of
is
the knife,
so crazy.
and you're fucked.
Oh, yeah. Or the anaesthetist is keeping you alive, right? And looking at all these machines. And then the wildest thing is in health is like, it's very high communication and face-to-face kind of stuff. There's lots going on. You don't communicate everything, and you realize it's just a business. It's a very complicated, understaffed business. And if you're a patient, you have to advocate for your own health. Always question everyone. Ask them to repeat stuff because they're only human. They're seeing fucking hundreds of people a day. Literally, someone will die on the table and they'll go and see another patient, and then they'll go to a meeting, and then they'll have to have a performance review with someone. It is a mental job. They are only human. I've talked to doctors, and in their phones, they literally have alarms to go to the toilet and do a wee, to eat something, and to do all that stuff, because it's just mental. As soon as you get in there, it's just reactive. Shit's just happening. Things are being thrown at you. It is a crazy environment.
So quick, just like context here for the pod listeners. Aaron used to be the chief digital officer at out in WA, basically. I'm not sure if you want to mention the name, but out in Perth, West Australia. So Aaron's like worked literally hand-to-hand combat with these guys. It'd be pretty wild.
Yeah, so I worked for the Fiona Wood Foundation and out at Fiona Stanley Hospital and Royal Perth Hospitals. So I work with the clinicians in the clinics and the wards. So right next to them, and help them with their IT, build out products, systems, all that kind of stuff. And man, when you see what these guys have to do, you just want to build any piece of technology you can to make their lives just a bit easier, to give them that extra 5 minutes, because it is hectic. It is so crazy. Even these kids that are like, I want to go into medicine, and they start studying because they got top grades, and then they see what it's really like. I'm like, whoa, do you realize the life that you've chosen? Like, you really have to want it. It's like being the CEO of a crypto startup. Like, most people would not do your job. They would not cope. It is crazy. You have to do insane things on an insane schedule. Things change all the time. Like, not even 1% of people in the world would take that on, let alone be successful.
I want to circle back to the other side of what we just spoke about. Like, there's risks with everything, right? You know, getting on a plane, going for surgery, whatever. Let's tell the other side of the story. Let's go back like fucking 1,000 years and say you needed an operation, or you wanted to travel somewhere, or you wanted to drive somewhere, or you wanted to eat a certain food, or fuck knows what. That would not be possible. Like, imagine you were a caveman back in the day and you needed a heart operation. Like, you're not getting a heart operation, mate. Like you're done. You're cooked. You're toppling over at 30. Or you want to go traveling. You get on your fucking donkey or your horse and go walking for, 10 days. Like that's your holiday.
Yeah.
Now we've got like all this like unbelievable transportation. We've got smart people. We've got technology. We've got robots. We've got science. All this stuff that has improved the quality of life for humans. But everything's got a downside. Everything's got a risk. But if we were living like 1,000 years ago, like different ball game.
Oh, two things that blow my mind. One, we didn't have like antibiotics 100 years ago. So it's like if you get an infection and your body can't fight it off, you're dead. Bang. You cut your toe, get something, you're dead. That's it. See you later. The other one is anesthetic. I don't know when that came out, but people were having operations without anesthetic, mate. It's like, here, have some booze or bite down on this.
Here's some whiskey.
Like, we don't appreciate that we've got clean running water. I can press a button on my phone and food will arrive to my house. Did you know that surgeons and barbers were the same thing back in the day?
Really?
Did you know that? So what happened was they were just barbers, right? And you go to a barber and, they cut your hair, they do all this stuff, but they also did like minor surgeries because they had all the knives and all that kind of crap. And then they branched off and they went into kind of medicine and surgery and barbers, right? And then like barbers were still do like, they'd chop your leg off or cut out a wound or do some crazy stuff. And then it went into its own field. And that's how it came about because the tooling was identical back in the day. How crazy is that?
Fascinating. It's, I just want to take another angle here quickly is like, because we've got this on here, is like the ability to view the world in a different way, I think is so powerful. So I'm doing this new, morning gratefulness. I used to do it a little while ago, but like trying this new idea of like trying to just think about, because I've heard like, morning gratefulness has like cured a lot of people's depression, anxiety, and like people's just whole viewpoint on the world.
Yeah.
And just the ability to cognitively like think every day, and it might be a grind, but like to think about, 5 to 10 things you're grateful for, list them out, read them out, tell somebody, whatever. Your ability over time to build up the way your neurons or whatever the fuck it is in your brain to like the way you think about life.
Yep.
For example, just then we went down that path of like, holy shit, like you're trusting those people. It's not a negative look, but it's very, I don't know if it's pessimistic, but it's like risk adverse look versus like the ability.
It's eye-opening.
Where you can also like see things from another angle. Like if you listen to what we just said for doctors, at the first little half we said like, holy shit, like, you got all these, who knows who's doing it, you could die, like, you trust all these people. Versus you think about it like the advancement we've had from 1,000 years ago to now, it's two completely different, it's the same thing. We're talking about the same thing, but two completely different ways of looking at it. And that's so fascinating because you look at that as a whole of life, right?
Yeah, man, I've always thought that. And if you want to be cured, just read any history book ever and see how hard people actually had it compared to what we have now. And even simple things, there's something ridiculous like over half the world doesn't have clean running water and toilets. Super basic stuff, clean running water and toilets. That is absolutely insane when you think about it. We complain about our lives where we sit in front of our computers, we work from home, we've got heating, we've got clothing, we've got any food that we want. We've got the internet, we can learn anything, we can change our lives. We're so privileged that we forget we've got these first world problems, but we need to relate that back to how are we really doing in the world. Like right now, just being on a computer, talking to each other, being in the station of life that we are and the jobs we have, we're in the top 5% globally. End of. Just with the money we earn. It was something ridiculous. Like if you earn more than, 50 or 60K US, you're in the top, like however many percent. I think it's like top 10% of the world. And we forget because we don't visit these countries. We don't see what their day to day is like. We don't understand war, running away, having to flee a country, being a refugee. We've had the biggest time of peace in our history. And having that morning gratitude really changes your perspective. I completely agree, man.
Love it. Just to wrap up this conversation.
Even the Stoics used to do a thing with like,
yeah.
Even the Stoics had a thing with negative visualization. Like, what would my life be like if I didn't have my arms or my legs or I lost my sight? And instantly, when you visualize those things, you are just grateful instantly.
100%, dude. Just to wrap up this little segment here, what's your
Mate,
what's your gratitude or kind deed of the week? I know we've added that. I think that was you added that. I love that. What you got? Something?
Oh, we've added it in, and I haven't even thought of one, mate. Have you got one? If you got one, go for it. And let me think of mine.
I've got a kind deed of the week. And, by the way, full disclosure, I didn't do this knowing that this was a segment. It was the other day in Launceston. I was going in to pay for fuel, and the two people in front of me, like their card wasn't working. It was declining or something. And they were like pressing buttons. It was like trying to their cards just wasn't working. And I just paid for their, I don't know what it was, paid for their fuel or their drinks or whatever the hell they were buying. And they were like, oh my God. Like he said, like, thank you so much. Like he dropped everything. He turned around, he shook my hand and said, man, thank you so much. Like he was super grateful. It was a really nice feeling. The guy at the petrol station was like, man, that was really nice. I was like, oh, I don't know what it was, like 40, 50 bucks, 30 bucks. I don't know what it was. But just like, I think that probably just made his day. And on the way out, like he was waving to me. He's like, give me a big thumbs up. He's like, and that ability for those guys to maybe pass that on to someone else. Not that this was my idea. So it was like, fuck it, I'll just pay for it. But save you going out to try and find more money. They might pass it on to someone else. The petrol guy was like, oh, that's cool. Might do that. Something just like that natural sort of distribution of just kindness. I love that sort of stuff.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, I look out for those opportunities whenever I can. I've had a thing. I do think I have one. So this was in one of the mornings, and my daughter's school has like a coffee and catch up once a month where you go to the staff room, you meet all the teachers, that kind of stuff. And it's early in the morning and I'm fucking tired and I'm sore from working out. I'm like, I can't be fucked. Like, I don't want to do this. But I ended up going down. And the reason I like to go down is to let them know what a fucking good job they're doing, because teachers just do not get enough credit. And the amount of programs they have in this school, the amount that they help the kids, especially even ones that have extra challenges and needs. And I made sure that I had a conversation with all of the teachers and gave them feedback and close that loop for them and let them know all the awesome things that they're doing. You should just see the smiles they have, just absolutely beaming. Like they know they're doing these awesome things. They can see the change in the kids, but then to get that feedback from the kids through the parents and just putting that effort to go down there and tell them instead of being like, nah, she'll be right. And it was amazing for me. Like I get a real kick out of just being around them. Like it's so much energy when you see people practicing their craft. They're really in love with it and they're doing the best stuff. And then you start brainstorming together and you start talking about a bunch of stuff. It was awesome. So that's kind of my gratitude for the week. I don't think I was kind in what I was doing. It's just what you should be doing if you've got awesome people in your life.
Just saying thank you. Just showing up. That's really cool.
Oh, 100%. Mate. So now we've got a segment. And I've wanted to do this for a while, mate.
Hit us up, mate.
So let's all right, I'll share my screen. Right, now, Ben, when I say barbecue and you go to your mate's place, what happens? What is a barbecue to you guys?
Mate, we throw a couple of hamburglers on the barbecue, got some snags. I usually bring a bit of steak because none of my mates can fucking afford steak, so I bring a bit of steak, have a steak sanger. But it's pretty basic, man.
Yeah.
We might a bit of bacon, maybe.
Awesome, man. So... yeah. All right. So when I say barbecue, this is what's barbecue to me. So this is American barbecue. So you got an Australian teaching you about American barbecue. I've been in love with this probably for the last 7-8 years, I reckon. So this segment is going to be how to cook American barbecue for under $100. And it is so easy to do. You'll be blown away. Stop going to, support these guys. But when you go out to like a barbecue joint, they charge you like $1 million for a bit of brisket or some ribs or something like that. So look, this is what we're going to do. You're going to need 4 things. You're going to need a Weber, something to cook on. You're going to need some charcoal. You're going to need some meat and you need some smoking wood. It is just simple as that. All right, let's get you started with your Weber. Get something like this. Don't get those cheap ones from Bunnings, all that sort of bullshit. Get the Weber brand. It doesn't have to have all the fancy shit. But seriously, I bet you've already got one in your backyard and you've never used it because you're a dog. Or you'll go to like your parents' place, right? And they'll have one that they bought for like a turkey once a year and no one knows how to use it.
Or it's got cobwebs on it. It's got,
seriously, in roadside
it's got cobwebs, like the old one. That's
cobwebs, yeah, because like,
this
is too hard. This is too hard. I can't do it. It's simple. Anyone can do it. You're all working from home now. You might as well be cooking up some good food. So get a Weber, even in the curbside collections, grab one of those or jump on Gumtree or bloody Marketplace. And they're about, seriously, $60 secondhand. Grab a secondhand one. They last forever. There's your Weber. Great. Grab one of those. Right. Now let's flick over to how you're actually going to set this up. I'm going to teach you how to cook awesome pulled pork. So what we're going to do here is we're going to set up your Weber. You're going to buy charcoal briquettes, right? These are just simple things, heat beads. You can get them from Coles, you can get them from Bunnings, you can get them from anywhere. Now, these photos are from a local legend called Gusface. We'll link to him in the show notes. He's a barbecue hero, such a legend. This is called the snake method. So you got your Weber, you take the lid off, and you arrange your little briquettes in little rows. So you do 2 on the bottom, and then you do 1 row on the top, and you just snake it all the way around. Then you stack your smoking wood, about 2 or 3 chunks, just like in the photo there, and you put an Alfalfa tray in the bottom. The Alfalfa tray is just to catch the drippings. Real simple. Now, with your smoking wood, don't buy any of this Bunnings crap or this kiln-dried Weber crap where it's really dry. That's all disgusting. And don't buy wood chips and soaking. I've seen you do it, and if you do it, I'm going to pop up behind you, and I'm going to give you a left, right, good night. Do not soak those wood chips. That is disgusting. Go to a barbecue place, or even on Marketplace, all the fruit tree people in your area, get yourself some hickory or some apple or even plum, cherry, all good. Costs you next to nothing, makes amazing food. All right, so here's what we're going to do. Line up your briquettes like that. Take about 10 or so briquettes, light them up until they're ashed over, and then just throw them over the front of the snake, just like in this photo here. If you Google snake method, you'll be able to see it, or you can just see it on the pod. Here's a photo of it set up nice and close. So this is actually one of my photos. I've just got it in a little chimney there, lighting them up. You can just light them on the bottom of the Weber, dump it on the front of the snake. And what this does, it creates the perfect temperature, about 225 Fahrenheit. I think it's maybe 110 Celsius. And this just burns around from briquette to briquette and goes around for about 10 hours. You don't have to worry about temperature. You've got the top vents open, the bottom vents open. Absolutely simple, simple, simple. Right. Let's get on to your meat.
Oof.
This is the kind of meat you want. You're going to start off with some pork. Pork is real easy to do. So you've set up your briquettes, you've lit them while they're lighting, and you put them on the snake, go inside. Right, what you want to get is a pork scotch or a pork neck. So there's no bones or anything in this. Or if you want to be fancy, you can get a Boston butt, which is a bone-in scapula. Now, where do you buy this? You can go to your local butcher. You can go to anyone that says, highly recommend Lindley Valley pork, because they only use sows, not boars. So you don't get that really awful boar, wet dog kind of smell and taste. Or you can go to Costco if you want. So right, grab this. It comes in a bag. Open that bag. And then all you got to do, you don't even have to trim these guys up. You just got to put a rub on it. So you're going to do the Holy Trinity first. Salt, pepper, garlic. And then we're going to get fancy. You should have all this shit in your pantry anyway. You can add some cumin. You can add some chili, add some paprika for color, and then add a little bit of brown sugar just to round it out with sweetness. And after you got that rub, put it in a shaker, or you could buy a $5 shaker rub. Seriously, just taste it. Make sure you hit all those notes. Awesome. Grab that shaker, shake it all over the top, just like I have here. Go out to your Weber, throw it on there, and you're done. Literally put the lid on with both vents open, and you leave it for 8 hours. Simple as that. So let's have a look through. This is what it looks like after about 3 or so hours. So that snake is burning around. It'll hit the wood. And when it hits the wood, what you want is a really thin blue, sweet smelling smoke to come out that draws you in. You don't want heaps of wind and this big white smoke that smells acrid and bitter and disgusting. I mean, that might happen for a couple of minutes and then it will calm down. But if you've got heaps of wind or that's happening, just close down your vents just a little bit and then just leave it. Seriously, you can put this on at the morning when you're working from home, and by night, it'll be absolutely ready. So this is about, the 3-hour kind of mark. This one's a bit later on as well. You can see in the background through the grill there, the smoke, the chain through the snake is kind of burnt through. And at this point, you kind of want to check it. You want to be is it too dry? Is it too moist? This one's kind of fine. You can spray it if you want with some beer or some apple cider vinegar. Look, if you're in a rush, you could just take this now and put it inside. The smoking's done. You pretty much just got heat here. You could put it in your oven inside. Or if you're in a real rush, you could just wrap it in butcher's paper, or you could wrap it in alfoil. And that'll just speed up the cooking process when you're around kind of the 4-hour mark. Generally, it takes around, 6 to 8 hours. And honestly, to tell if this is done, you grab a skewer and you poke it through. If it probes like you're probing butter, you're done. That's it. Don't worry about the temperature. The temperature will be fine. And what you're doing here is you're overcooking the meat because you're breaking down all that intramuscular fat. And then this is just going to pull apart. It is just phenomenal.
Oh,
and
my
this
goodness.
is the end product. Have a look at that, mate. It just looks phenomenal. So this is about 2 kilos of pork. It's got a beautiful mahogany color to it. It's got beautiful bits of fat, lovely bark, which is nice and crispy. It's going to have all the flavor. And you have that smoke that just penetrates the meat as well. It just looks amazing. And there's another angle for you.
Have you got a photo of this cut open?
Starting
Show
to
us the
salivate,
inside,
mate.
mate. I'm fucking
Heavy
hungry.
breathing.
Show us the
What's
inside.
that?
Did you cut it open?
All right. So this is another one. I don't have that exact one. There you go. So this is what it looks like, right? So this photo is not the greatest, but when you pull it apart, it just looks amazing where you've got all these pieces of like really like awesome meat with a smoke ring on it. And you've got pieces of fat and you've just got all this deliciousness that just goes together. Seriously, when you're pulling this apart, you can just use a couple of forks and it just falls apart. It is so delicious. And so I had it for dinner, and this is the next morning, mate. So I got a bit fancy. I made myself a cup of coffee from my house, best espresso in the world, self-rated 5
latte
stars.
with his fucking pulled pork.
Yep.
Look at this guy. Fucking.
Yeah. I stuffed up the latte up. You know, I'm still learning, but it tastes good. And then I've got the pulled pork on the plate, got some leftover chips from dinner the night before, and I cooked up some scrambled eggs. And I put truffle oil over the top, mate. And this thing was just incredible. It was like, man, if you want to feel rich, eat this. And then like an hour later, when you burp, you're burping truffle. You just feel so rich, mate. Seriously, it is amazing. It is absolutely amazing. So honestly, with the method I've just taught you, the snake method, just a simple recap. Line up your briquettes in a snake, light up 10 of them. As soon as they're ashed over, put them on the front of the snake, put your smoking wood there, go inside, set up your meat, put it in there over a tray and just leave it. And these are the things that you can cook with this method. You can do pork ribs like that. These pork ribs are absolutely insane. It takes about, depending on how thick your pork ribs are, anywhere from 3 to 5 hours. And mate, these are just off the hook. Everyone always requests this. These ones, this is delicious. These are beef cheeks cooked in stout. Yeah, so beef cheeks are like this beautiful gelatinous meat. And I've rubbed it there with just a rub that I made. I smoked it the same way with the snake. And then I put it in a tray. So smoke them for maybe an hour or two, put them in the tray, and then just pour some stout in there and just let it cook in there. And it just absolutely falls apart. This is a brisket. So this was like an 8 kilo brisket where it's like, it's pretty much cow chest and it is just so meaty and delicious. Oh my God. Mate. This is like the cut. Oh mate. Have a go on this.
It looks like a croissant.
Look at this. So this same method, I probably use. So I use less briquettes with this one. So you get a cheese, right? A brie or a camembert, and you wrap it in prosciutto and then you smoke it. So you've got this beautiful smoked melty cheese. You take it out and you cut it and the cheese just oozes out of it. And then you can put some smoked honey over the top. Have this with a nice glass of wine as a nice starter and just dip whatever you've got, like beautiful sourdough bread or any like crackers or anything into it. Amazing starter, mate. Oh, get amongst that. Jalapeno poppers, exactly the same way. Have you ever had these?
I like jalapenos, but that looks all right.
Oh, mate. Okay. So get a jalapeno, hollow it out, put some cream cheese in there, little bit of Gouda, wrap it in bacon, put some rub on it and smoke it. And these are just incredible. These are the most delicious things on the planet. These are the beef cheeks when they're done, mate. Like this is just rich, thick, gelatinous meat. And it is just unbelievable. Number one thing. This is the beef cheeks served over mash.
Holy shit, mate.
Now we're getting into it. This is the ticket, mate. This is the ticket. And this is a little tease for next week. So we've gone through the basics of how to smoke meat. That is probably as complicated as it gets. You can go look at, we'll drop these in the show notes, Gus Face, David Ong with Pitmaster University, or my favorite, Barbecue Pit Boys. They're just a bunch of like cowboy looking dudes that cook with minimal tools and make the best stuff. But next week, I'll teach you how to cook the perfect steak. And I'm looking forward to that.
Wow, dude. I'm
so good, mate. So good.
I'm a bit hungry now.
You got to get amongst it, mate. It is the easiest thing to do. And you got so much leftover meat. You can just vac seal it. You can use it another time. It's the most efficient cooking. It is awesome. If I go to a barbecue now and they pull out the gas barbecue, I'm like, this ain't barbecue. This is frying. I can do this in my pan. Nah, no way.
Nice, dude.
Oh, no way, mate. Not for me.
You still haven't. Yep.
There you go, folks.
You haven't given me the barbecue at your place yet. I'm gonna have to fly over soon, man. I've got no Perth trips coming up. I might have to book something in. I've just fucking hate coming to Perth.
Mate, you're a digital nomad. You should be here
Perth,
already.
Man.
Come round,
I'll
mate.
come with the barbecue.
Such a dog. Such a dog. Like, you fly in and then you just like, oh, have Barbie and
Mate,
fly out.
It's like
Bloody
you in
hell,
Tasmania.
mate.
It's like you in Tasmania.
Jeez.
Oh, you fucking Tassie, mate. Nah, not going to fucking Tassie, mate. Fuck that.
Okay, first of all, fuck Tassie, because it's -1 degree. I'm not doing that shit. But you haven't invited me out for fucking mutton bird, mate. I want to have some of that. It sounds amazing.
Come down.
How is it? Explain to people what mutton bird is.
Oh, dude. So you can only get these things in the top northwest coast of Tassie, like on an island, basically. And my pop goes out every year for mutton bird hunting. And they're birds that live in the ground. So they dig themselves these holes. And they're the most like tender, it's like caviar for meat. So to get these things, you've got to stick your hand in the ground. You push your hand into the holes where the birds live. You pull them out, snap their necks, and you throw them in the bucket. Hopefully that's not too visual for listeners at home.
Mate, it's real life. Honestly, we're no bullshit here. This is just how life is.
You slow cook them on the barbecue. You wrap them in foil. You've got these like greases. You put a bit of like, seasoning on them. You wrap them in foil and you heat them up. You slow cook them over a few hours. Once they're done, there's these little birds. They have there's not much meat on them. They're very greasy. Like, you don't have one or two. They're very acquired taste, but you get these like little bits of meat, and it's like, I don't know how to explain it. It's like duck. It's like, you know how duck is such a very tender meat?
Yeah.
But it's but this like really like unique sort of greasy version of that on a bird. And it is unbelievable. You have the skin, you try and peel the skin off, and you're sitting there. It's like solving a Rubik's Cube trying to eat this thing, and you're trying to get as much meat off the bone as you can.
I still remember when I was 7 years old, I went to India and I had mutton curry, and how delicious that was. It was just a completely different flavor. It was fatty and it was just incredible. I still remember that taste. Unbelievable. We don't really do like mutton here. It's more lamb and like young kind of sheep. It's a shame. That stuff is delicious. Speaking about that, man, like, I bought a fire pit like a couple of days ago. I can't wait to get that cranking. Like, just getting it out in the back during winter, and it's got a grill over the top. The amount of things I'm going to cook, even when we're away on the trip, we end up cooking damper and all this stuff, and just having like damper, like while you're sipping on wine with like some jam on Nutella was just so good, man.
That's sick.
Just getting amongst it.
That's a good lead into one of the last things was like the difference around what I'm calling the birth lottery. The difference of a life you have depending on where you're born. And the differences. So like, I recently obviously came back from the States and seen America, seen like, let's say New York. New York is this concrete jungle. Eat or be eaten mentality. Capitalism. I'm going to win. You're going to fucking lose. I'm going to kick you when you're down. You don't go to university? Fuck you. You're going to be homeless. You're going to work at a bank. You're going to be a lawyer. You're going to be on the stock market. You're going to be a broker. You're going to earn 120k USD just to like live in Manhattan. Versus Tasmania.
Yeah.
And what do you do on the weekend? I don't know. You fucking go to clubs, or I don't even know what you do on the weekend in New York. Like, you go to a bar. You don't go to grass. You don't go play golf. You know what I mean? Like, there's no, like, you don't go to the outback. You don't go for bushwalks. Like, that's New York. Tasmania, you grow up with country football. You grow up eating pies. You go to the Scottsdale bakery and have a coffee on the side of the road and smell the fresh air and the non-polluted, air that you live in Tasmania. There's 2 lanes on the road that cars barely drive in, and you're just loving life. You're on a walk, you go to the water, you go for a swim. But you grow up as a tradie or a farmer or some sort of retail 9 to 5, and you're earning 50k a year. And that's just the world you live in. Some people never leave Tasmania, but some people never leave Australia. Like, such a different world.
It's wild, isn't it? A lot of people don't leave the States. Like, a lot of them don't have passports. But you're right with the birth lottery. Like, even me, where my parents my mum left India, my dad left Austria, and they met over here. Like, how lucky is that just to come to Australia, first of all? Be born over here, have decent parents that, saved all their money, did all that stuff, made a lot of sacrifices to be the person I am today. If they didn't do that, or if I was born somewhere else or something else happened to me, I would not have those opportunities. And even the States, like, even with like going to, okay, I did my MBA, right? And doing it in the States is about 250K USD, right? Over here, it's 60K AUD for a top university.
That's insane, isn't it?
And it is just, I can't fathom that amount of money to get in that debt, to have that status, and how they're all like, what school do you go to? Where do you summer? How does this happen? I was just talking about this with a friend the other day about class levels. Like, and I'm like, in Australia, like, who's upper class? Like, who is, nobility or anything like that? And I had to think really hard. Like, I know some, some fancy people, some surgeons, some lawyers, some judges, yeah, maybe. But there's such a low power distance in Australia. There's a very just, very country town kind of attitude to the whole place. Not, you can't be here, or you don't do this, you don't belong. That still exists, but it's not like other places like Europe or
it's fascinating. Like,
States.
on that point, the salary you can earn in the States compared to America is so much bigger. Like, to live in California, you need like 120, 150 US just to like, in LA, for example, or like live a comfortable life over there. It is insane. I was at, I went in Sydney. I went to a fireside chat with Airtree, the biggest Web3 VC fund, and Immutable X, one of the co-founders. I can't remember his name, of Immutable X. And he's like, it was Robbie. It was a room full of builders, founders, and investors. And he said, we are so lucky here in Australia because the talent here in Australia is so much cheaper than anywhere else. Well, no, sorry, than America. If you want a software engineer out of the US, you're looking minimum 200 to 300 US salary a year.
Yeah.
That is insane.
Yep. That's just a software developer. Good ones are like north of 500K plus an equity package.
And who's to say, like,
it is mental.
And Tim and Martin, for example, they're unbelievable guys. They're fucking killing it. Would you expect that you'd get more out of that person you're paying $500,000 fucking US dollars for than these guys? I don't know, probably not. You know what I mean? No. Like, they're probably snobby rich folk that don't give a fuck.
Exactly.
Because they're on so much money and living in Beverly Hills.
Well, that's it. Because what took us out of the GFC was tech companies. That was like the knight in shining armor. And then people started working there. Then there was a war on talent where even though you didn't need the devs, you had so much money and you were hyperscaling that you bought them, didn't even put them to work. So your competitors couldn't get them. And then it's just started going up and up over time. Things became more and more ridiculous, as did valuations. Then, everything goes up in step. Like if you live in San Fran, it's like your cars cost more. Your housing is, millions of dollars just for an average house. And everything goes up from there. Your rent goes up and then salaries go up as well. It is absolutely crazy. It is hard to find good talent and it costs a bomb. It is unbelievable. We are very, very lucky to be here.
And coming back to like Australia, man, I love like country footy. Went to watch my mates the other day in Launceston, watched the country footy game. There's nothing better than a salve, few frothies at the footy, around the fire, watching country footy guys going at it. Everyone's just loving it. Everyone's just getting in the umpires. Everyone's just getting stuck in. Couple of fights. Just fucking awesome. That's just so sick.
So good.
Isn't it?
That's real life,
you don't get that in
mate.
New York.
Catching up with you. Yeah. See, this is the thing. That's it. You get around, your mates are in there, they're in the fight, and then everyone hates on each other from the different teams, getting a bit of a biff, bring the biff back, have a couple of frothies to numb the pain, and then everyone slags off the umpire, and he has to quickly duck off so he doesn't get bashed.
And then after the game, you go in the rooms, listen to all the boys, everyone's just old and sore, then you go in the rooms and both teams are in there, have a few frothies together, like nothing happened. It's just sick. It's just good.
So good. So good, mate. All right. We were talking about food. I want to punch out meal of the week. I got a cracker this week. Do you have a meal of the week?
Do you want to go first?
All right. Yeah, I want to go first because this is like, oh man, All right. This was my meal of the week, and this is called bakute, which loosely translates to meat bone tea. Right. So on the screen, you've got this bowl of this amazing broth, and it's got like all these kind of like herbal kind of stuff in it, like star anise, aniseed, lots of spices, and it's got pork bones in there, literally pork ribs that you can see poking out the top, just cooked. So it's just falling off the bone, lots of garlic, mushrooms, amazing. On the side, you've got your chili, your soy sauce, your garlic. You've got these, what do they call it? Yuchakwe. It's like fried bread that you can put in there as well, and rice. And man, this is the tits. Like, I had this in Singapore and it was just unbelievable. Unbelievable. This one is just like a local one that I have here, and it just, man, if you ever, this is like the Asian chicken soup, man. It is so good. If you ever need a pick me up, or you're not feeling right, or you just want a warm hug, get stuck into this. It is absolutely phenomenal. It is the dish. When we come down, when you come down, we're having this,
sick, man.
And mate, it'll put a smile on your dial. And out of 10, I'm only going to give this an 8, and I'll tell you why. Because I went to Singapore. Yeah, I went to Singapore and I ate at one of the original Bak Kut Teh places, and it's a fucking Michelin star restaurant, and it costs about $10 to eat there. And seriously, you eat it, and mate, you just want to cry. It's like, it is unbelievable. It evokes so much emotion, and it just tastes right. And it's like, if someone put you in a machine and they're like, what does this human need? Bak Kut Teh would just come out and you would have it, and you would just feel amazing. You would feel complete. This meal. Okay,
that's a big call. I'm going to Singapore in a couple of weeks. I'm going to Singapore in 2 weeks. Can you like message?
Oh,
tell me where to go.
I'll tell you. Yeah. I'll tell you the place to go to.
Send me a message later. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Shit, I might have to fly out, mate.
Come join me.
I'm so keen. I would literally fly there just for that meal.
I expect to be just rocked. My world rocked.
Oh, seriously, you will be. You will be. The line's really long, but they get through people quickly, man. It's amazing.
You need to get out of your screen so I can.
All right, what do you got for me? It better not be an empty bowl, mate.
Mate,
that was disgusting.
I had a few messages going, "You're a joke. You're a scam." Basically, couldn't even see the meal before it was eaten.
Well, I mean, they're not wrong. Yeah, look, mate, you're just rushing so much. You don't even have time to take a photo, mate. In between investor calls, stuffing your face with the curry.
Hey, Bergs, I'm pretty excited about this one because I'm back on the weekly cadence. I'm back on the chicken burgers. Yeah. I'm back. I had a week off, and I had withdrawals.
This so good.
What we have here is from the Launceston Airport. We have just a traditional southern fried chicken burger. Now, what I loved about this chicken burger is that the coleslaw was fresh. We had our onions, our carrots. We had a little bit of lettuce, very fresh on the bottom, just giving that, first of all, that cold texture, which I just love. Moving our way up, we had a really thick bit of fried chicken. Now, this wasn't just a fried bit of chicken that was just like, when you get way too much batter on a fried chicken, you're just like, fuck this. It's just like, this is just all batter. This was, yeah.
Like KFC, it's like breaded, disgusting.
What you had here was a very well thicked. I'm going to use the word thicked here. Thicked batter.
Well thicked.
Don't think that's a word, but
seriously, we need a rating score, and one of the criteria is well thicked, and you can give it. I don't think that's a word.
We're going to use it. Beautiful bit of chicken. Then we had this 2-layered cheese. Now, I hadn't seen this in a while. We probably got like our cheddar, just like a layer of cheddar, as you can see on the right-hand side there. But then you had this like orangey, velvety, mozzarella-y thingo. I don't know what it was, but it was the fucking bee's knees. Then you had like aioli and mayonnaise on the top. You had sauce on the side, and you had this bun. And like, if you were looking at this bun, you're going to say, fuck, that's a thick bun. But what it was actually quite soft. It was toast on the top. It was soft on the middle, accompanied by just a well-portioned bit of sauce, chips that were well cooked. Bergs, this was up there. This is one of the better fried chicken burgers I've had in a little while.
You know what I like about this? It looks well balanced, where you've got the kind of greasy chicken, but you can see there where it's cut. The batter's like crispy and it's puffed up, but it's not too thick and breaded. And then the soft roll where you can just push it down, but the coleslaw where, it's fresh, so you've got that crunch, you've got the play between hot and cold, and then you've got the greasiness, but the acidity to cut through it.
I couldn't say it better myself. That's exactly what's going on here. Oh, mate,
I'm
getting
breathing,
hungry.
mate.
This is fucking barbecue and fried chicken burgers. Bergs, this is coming in at a 9.2 for me. I'm really happy with this. I'll be back on Launceston Airport. Yeah.
Whoa!
I'll be back.
Mate, for an
Yeah.
airport meal,
Yeah,
this is
it's
incredible.
It's up there.
That is
Thank you,
unbelievable.
Concession Airport. Have we got a meme of the week?
That is phenomenal. Oh, all right. We do, and I'm going to come out to Lonnie just for the mutton bird and the chicken sandwich, mate. Don't want to see you. Don't worry about your dial. I'll just have Christmas with your family. You can go somewhere else.
Now, are we getting cancelled this week? Is this meme spicy? Because
All right.
we was pretty spicy last week.
No, it's not that spicy, mate. No. Good on. Oh, mate, my mates and everyone, they were talking about that Elon meme. They were like, the Tesla torso was the one they lost it at. So good. So I'm bringing up this meme because this was, we were talking about this on Thursday night in the Discord live. So for those who don't know, we're Collective Shift company. As part of our membership, you get to join our Discord live, ask us questions, and we cover the events from that week, just macro crypto investing. It's amazing. But this week, like Nathan, it was a nighttime one, so Nathan wasn't available. Nick was sick, poor bugger. I think he had COVID for a second time. And Ben's just like, oh, la-di-da. I'm going to catch up with the big wigs, have a couple of frothies, talk around a little bit, just do a little bit of, here and there, just do whatever. And I'm like, whatever, fine. And then I realized poor Matt's by himself. So I'm like, right, I'm going to jump in. I'll help Matt out. I'm not going to let him do like a Discord live by himself. Matt's like, no, I'm fine. I'll do it. I'm like, nah, man, we're a team. I'll get in there. So we ended up talking about inflation, all this stuff. We also talked about how sore our backs are from carrying the team. And it hurts. Even Matt said, he was like, oh, I came back from the gym and I did feel that twinge. I'm like, mate, that's Ben letting us down. I actually had to, after that, I had to go and do some deadlifts to strengthen my back. Because, mate. So good. All right, meme of the week. So this is from Lena Seek, I think it is. You'll see her all over Twitter. She creates these hardcore Bitcoiner. She's also known as Headphone Girls. Love her stuff. So this is classic meme. The government's there with people gathering around. They're holding up a sign. There's no inflation. Then they throw that sign away. The next sign, inflation is transitory. Throw that away. Inflation is good for you. And you can see this through all Biden's posts. It's amazing. Throw that away. Inflation is Russia's fault. And then they're crossing it out. They're like, there is no recession. We actually don't know how to qualify things as a recession. It is just so unbelievable. And then this led on to, this is probably the best tweet I've seen in a while. It's not a recession unless it's from the recession region of France. Otherwise, it's just sparkling misery. It was so good. So good. So this is just, for those that don't know, it's a play on like champagne being from the Champagne region. Otherwise, it's just sparkling white wine.
But you know what was funny thing about that last meme is that they ran out of signs, so they had to use the back of the sign and cross it out. They were using existing signs. That many signs have changed their messaging so much. Yeah.
Because they keep changing their minds. Yep. They keep upping rates. Biden's telling you, oh, look, fuel's gone down by 20 cents. That should give you some relief. I'm like, people are destitute. They can't afford food, mate. It is just, mate, unbelievable. But just to end on this, the Fed, everyone's reading into this. Like, they're literally going through the Fed's statement and seeing what they're talking about and trying to understand the tone to do forward projections. And they're not meeting next month, so they've got a month off. It's going to be 2 months. So it's going to be really interesting to see what happens in the markets in that time.
Speaking of markets in that time, Bergs, Collective Shift, we're talking a lot about, membership about the upcoming Ethereum merge. Nick did a deep dive into Ethereum. Very bullish on Ethereum right now. What did you say before the show? Vitalik actually said it's undervalued, he thinks.
Yeah, he was saying it's not priced in, and Ethereum's only like 55% complete, which is, some people freak out at that, whereas I'm like, that's amazing because I love innovation.
Ethereum got their merge coming up. There's proof of work to proof of stake. We've done a deep dive for members. You can sign up for $1 for 7 days and read that in our membership platform. We're launching the dashboard soon, Bergs, new MVP. That looks pretty sick. So you're going to be able to take any personalized insights based on what you own.
Amazing.
And we just got heaps of stuff going on. Yeah.
I'm super psyched about
I'm
that.
really loving it.
We do. It's all happening. It's building in the bear market. Keep delivering. It is awesome. It's just hit after hit. Yeah, and if you're doing nothing with your life and you want to learn about crypto, collectiveshift.io, at least look at our top tutorials so you understand it. Get into the $1 for 7 days and look at the Ethereum merge and read about that stuff. It is super interesting. Get the insights and learn about this stuff because you will need
and you get 50% off your first month as well after your $1 for 7 days in the link below. Bergs, once again, I'm now hungry, so I'm going to go get some food, I think. After that was like half food.
Oh, so am I, mate. Looking at all those barbecue photos, that you know what?
Oh, really?
It was
That
a
got you
chicken
across the
sandwich
line.
you got me,
Yes,
mate.
it did.
I looked at it and I was like, oh, I could go one of those. It did, because the other stuff, I'm like, I've cooked that. I know what it is. I had barbecue last night. I'm good. That chicken sandwich, I was like, oh, I could
Mate,
go
I'm going
into
out
that,
for
mate.
Matt, Tim, and
I'm
I.
gonna
We're
bust
going
a
to
feed.
Korean barbecue tonight, so I'll report back. I might have a meal of the week for next week. Yeah.
Oh, lovely. Get amongst it, mate. Cook up some bulgogi. Delicious. Oh,
Righto, fam.
amazing.